August 18th, 1590. Governor John White rode toward the shores of Roanoke Island, expecting to hear a busy settlement. Instead, he finds complete silence. Stepping ashore, the scene is unsettling. There are no bodies scattered in the dirt, no blood, no signs of a struggle. The houses haven't been burned or destroyed. They have been carefully, deliberately dismantled. White finds the letters CRO carved into a nearby tree. On a wooden post at the entrance of the camp, another marking is etched into the wood, the word CROATOAN. Before White left 3 years earlier, the colonists agreed on a protocol. If they were forced to flee in danger, they would carve a cross above their destination. There is no cross. 115 men, women and children simply evaporated into the coastal air. Their absence left a physical void on the island, starting a mystery that has lasted for over 4 centuries. To understand the weight of this empty shoreline, we have to look back to 1587. This was an expedition of families. Among the settlers were White's own daughter, Eleanor, and his infant granddaughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America, but the settlement quickly fell into crisis. Supplies dwindled, and relations with local tribes grew tense. Desperate, the colonists insisted that Governor White sail back to England to secure reinforcements. He left reluctantly, intending to return in months. But upon reaching London, he found a war. The Spanish Armada was approaching, forcing Queen Elizabeth to ground every single English vessel to defend the homeland. White was trapped. He spent months begging for a ship, watching as days turned into a 3-year wait. By leaving to save the colony, he was locked out of his family's lives. A geopolitical conflict between empires reduced a father's rescue mission to a personal tragedy. Back in 1590, White was ready to search the nearby island of Croatoan for his people, but a coastal storm rolled in, snapping the ship's anchors. The captain refused to risk the vessel, forcing White to sail away. He died years later, never knowing their fate. Today, modern forensic science is attempting to answer the questions White couldn't. The investigation begins simply with the environment. This diagram shows tree ring data from the region. The tightly compressed rings labeled 1587 to 1590 confirm that the Roanoke area was enduring the most severe drought it had seen in 800 years. Local native tribes were already struggling to harvest crops. The English settlers, with no experience farming this specific soil, faced immediate starvation and disease. But the climate wasn't the only threat. In 1607, during the founding of Jamestown, Captain John Smith reported a conversation with Chief Powhatan. The leader claimed his warriors had killed the Roanoke colonists. Powhatan reportedly supported this claim with physical evidence. He showed Smith a collection of English metal tools harvested from the settlers after the attack. Whether they were slowly erased by a parched climate or killed by a rival regional power, the colonists were isolated and vulnerable to the realities of the continent. Yet the carving on the post suggests a different outcome. Facing starvation, the colonists likely sought refuge with the Croatan tribe, led by a man named Manteo, who had previously befriended the English. Decades later, European explorers pushing into this territory documented Native American communities that possessed gray eyes, European facial features, and the ability to read and write English. That strong connection reaches into the present. In the early 1700s, explorers met the ancestors of the modern Lumbee tribe, who claimed descent from the lost colonists. Several 16th-century English surnames from the Roanoke roster are still present in Lumbee communities today. Modern DNA testing conducted among these descendant communities has recently shown clear evidence of early European ancestry. This evidence reframes the mystery. Instead of a mass death event, Roanoke may be a story of adaptation. The colonists survived by leaving their English identities behind and merging into the local culture. In 2012, researchers at the British Museum re-examined this original map of the North Carolina coastline drawn by John White. They noticed a small paper patch covering a specific area of the map, located about 50 miles inland from the island. When they analyzed the area beneath the patch, they found a hidden symbol. It was the marking for a fort indicating a planned inland settlement known today as Site X. In 2020, archaeologists excavating the area around Site X uncovered English pottery, iron tools and boundary stones consistent with late 16th century English technology. John White died never knowing the fate of the colony. Today, his own ink is leading modern archaeologists to the inland site where the settlers likely spent their final days. Over the centuries, the word CROATOAN became a fixture of American folklore, a ghost story that often obscures the people who carved it. Beneath the myth is the reality of 115 lives, fathers, mothers, and a newborn baby girl who disappeared from the historical record in a matter of months. History rarely provides the comfort of a neat resolution. Sometimes the record simply stops. The excavations and the genetic studies persist today because we, much like John White, are still looking for those families in the silence